Yes,
the miners in the Strand Picture House.
You used to go along on a
Every Saturday morning, and every Saturday morning we used to go into the miners. You're downstairs and you're upstairs. If you were well up, you went up the stairs, and if you weren't, you stayed downstairs. And had their own wee song.
Do you remember the song?
Yes, I do.
Remember the song as well.
How did it go?
We are the boys and girls well known as miners of the ABC, and every Saturday all line up to see the films we like and shout aloud with glee. We used to laugh and have our say.
I can remember when every other house had a pigeon loft. There was a beauty beside my granny's. The cats never went hungry for sure. It was an obsessive pastime. And for the men of the East End Pigeon Club on Severn Street, that hasn't changed a bit.
You're really wasting your time, our lads. There weren't pigeons in here. In the past, we could have had 70 or 80 members in here.
And what sort of jobs? What backgrounds were all those men from?
90% of them would be the shipyard. 90% of them, if not more.
And who were the best pigeon men? There was no kind of
Maybe the best
single breed.
pigeon man was the one that done the most sloping to do the most training.
Basically, the shipyard men that was never there.
Now there's pigeon men and then there's everybody else. But I was allowed to set one of the clocks for a cross-Ireland race. An important job. I never mentioned my granny's cat.
How many clubs would there have been around the area here?
Well, there was East End, Sydenham, Keensweed, and the Belmont, and the Craigie, and the Britannia. They were all in East Belfast at the time, you know.
That's east, yeah.
But they've all won out. They're all...
That's right. There's only, at the moment, there's only, what, four?
Who was the best club?
East End. And them days, you had 60 and 70 members. Like
84 in here at one time.
I was over 80 in the Kingswood too.
And there seems to be a lot of history around the walls and photographs and so on. Albert was telling me there how many people are dead in that photograph. That's very comforting.
There's only about 2 left that restless pigeons in it.
And you're one of them?
Gonna take a sentimental journey. Gonna
Did I mention the magnificent chippies on the Newton Ards Road? Well, there's a few still there. I called in to see a local man who wanted to tell me about the Battle of the Connswater, the greatest naval battle East Belfast had ever seen.
We had a house in Essex Street, and I just remember this raft with sides on it, so it was a boat, you know. But it was like a thing of, you know, the kind of thing that youngsters will do. It must have been out petrol cans and things underneath, and sides on it. And I remember getting in this to go across. This was going to be the invasion of Mersey Street, you know, by Navy. And of course we got there, and word got around, and we did have our bin lids in the thing with us, but we were pelted out of the water. But not only that, the boat was faulty. It wasn't seaworthy, and it sank, and it went down to great cheers. I think there was a bit of dismay, because I think the Mersey boys must have thought they'd sunk the boat, you know, they'd actually torpedoed it.
You're a bit of a homing pigeon yourself. Do you recognise many changes when you come back to the area?
Well, I just sort of sometimes have this fantasy of if there was such a thing as my father's ghost or my mother's ghost wandering about, how would they find their way around? Because with the big amount of changes, they would be completely lost, and they would be wondering. I desperately hang on to all the memories, you know.
The one thing about ghosts, I suppose, is that they wouldn't be inclined to receive much post. Gary McKnight's bag is getting lighter by the day. How many years have you been here?
About 11 years altogether now.
Will you be here in another 11 years?
Well, I don't know. It could well be.
How many houses were there here?
There was over 1,000 houses.
Now
we're down to 300, 365, and in this particular area, less than 100.
See this thing here of leaving the door open? What's that
Well,
about?
that still goes on. I mean, that's what people always used to do.
How you doing? I'm just there loitering with intent. I'm Dan. Sorry, your name's?
Mrs. Sykes. You're not the guy from Parkett, are you?
Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I live around that direction.
You were in our church one morning.
That's right. I was. And you're still here and everybody else is away?
Yes, I'm waiting on a bungalow, hopefully. We get it up there.
In the area?
Yeah, down Patrick Street.
Is that where you're hanging on and hanging on?
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
29 years in Mersey Street and 26 here. I can sit here at this step and the sun's out with about 20 kids round me.
Really?
I'm like agony aunt.
I'm going to come back and talk to you again. I'll see you later.
No. Okay, thanks
Cheers.
very much. Thank you.
Many a tear has to fall, but it's all in the game.
Then, as now, the Oval dominated the warren of streets. You can still follow football the way most of us did, through the turnstiles at the top of Mersey Street to Glentoran Football Club.
How you doing? Good, ready, sir. Thank you very much.
Last time I was through there, I was the same age as him, about 6 years of age. It didn't go all the way to the top, they lifted you over. It hasn't changed a bit.
Hey, Grant! Half and half gone, I only have time. Hey, 2 minutes? Oh, yes. There you are.
Okay, lovely job. Thanks very much.
Graham Norris, we were at school together.
Yeah.
How many years have you been coming here?
About at least 30 years now, Dan. You know, I think I started coming about 1970, 71. You know.
And who's this?
Stephen.
And he started
He
to come now
is
with you?
just turned 8. Whenever he's really badly behaved, I bring him along here. And it really improves his behaviour the rest of the week because he has to come back.
I was brought down here when I was 4-year-old, and this is my first club, you know, and I've stuck ever since. 4 years old. You're talking of 24 years now, you know?
Nearly.
So, nearly.
Once in a while he won't call, but it's all in the game. Soon you'll be there at your side.
1966 was the last time. I think I've still got some of the same players.
Right, buddy? You want no trouble? The Glens have been the centrepiece of every other Saturday for more than 100 years. And most people around followed their fortunes and their heroes. Danny Blanchflower, Jimmy McElroy, Peter Doherty, and now Andy Smith. Most of the fans don't live next door to the Oval anymore. And while the passion and the loyalty for the club still blooms fresh every week, the Glens are also planning to move, following their supporters out to the suburbs and a new ground.
I haven't come down here since my mother stopped breastfeeding me. It's going to be a hard goodbye for me to say to this place here, and I mean that sincerely. You know, look around the streets are gone, shipyards gone. You know, the whole district's just changed.
I mean, the heart of this club will always be here, where we're sitting today. No matter where we move, should we move to Australia, the heart of this club will always be in the Mersey Street area. I mean, that's where Glen men are from, that traditionally.
I'd come down here on a Saturday and there'd be about 10,000 here, so no? Because you had the whole shipyard and the whole aircraft, and they got a special dispensation to get out at lunchtime on a Saturday to come over here. Aye.
And was that really where the fan base was?
That's where the fan base was, yeah.
What do you think have been the biggest changes to the team over the years?
There's no change in the way they play football. They always did play football. That's why I like them. They're not a kick and rush team, like some teams I can mention.
The Blues.
If football created legendary personalities, the characters that my father told me about from the yard loomed largest in my life. I knew Harland and Wolff was once the world's biggest shipbuilder, with more than 30,000 employees. Today, there's just 130 jobs left.